Alright, I'm going to come down here to this drawer, and you can see there's a lot of odd and ends in here. The thing that stands out in this drawer is this tool right here. This is a neat tool, and this was made by Snap-on, I believe. Yeah, Snap-on. And you've got different dies that go in here with different thread pitch. So you can adjust this around your thread, a rod or whatever that's threaded, and you can adjust this up to it, and you turn it. You turn it around your threads. Actually, you pull it that way. You pull it around your thread, and it chases it. And we've used this quite a bit. There's different dies in here. And you see, here's a bunch of them right here. There's a bunch of different dies with different thread pitch. So all you do is you loosen that bolt, you slide it out, and you stick your other one in here, and you got you a thread chasing tool. This comes in handy a lot. You'd be surprised, you know, especially like out in the field, you got something you need to just chase a thread because somebody dinged it. So there's just a bunch of odd and end stuff, a bunch of old taps and drills and cutters. There's a stair angle gauge right here. That was his. This is a neat tool here that I'm not sure what it was used for, but it was made by SW Card, and it looks like it's a you know, it's like a die. It's got a thread pitch right here, and it must be 5.5. It says 5.5 here, but I'm not really sure how exactly it's used. Maybe there's another thing that goes with it. It's always been in this drawer though. And you can see there's just a bunch of different stuff in here. Taps and drills, star drive sockets, you know, or square drive. There's a bunch of tubes up in here that don't have any drills in them anymore, but there was a bunch of those, some old drills. Alright, I think that pretty well covers that drawer there. The next drawer over here on this side, now this is where all of our larger taps always stayed. I have cleaned this out quite a bit. We used to have all of our left-handed taps in this drawer, and I decided to take all those out and put them in one of my plastic bins on the wall. So all that's in here is your larger taps and odd size taps. So if I have something that I can't really find, I'll come over here and look, and there'll be a lot of different sizes in here. Like this right here is a 15/16 20, and many of these in here are like that. They're just odd sizes. And of course there's still a bunch of drills and stuff in there. So that's the big tap drawer. All right, next one down. There's some old drill indexes. Got a bunch of drill indexes in here, the old ones. Most of them are all still in there. We used to use these a lot. There's a sterret box that's missing an indicator. There's some Blue Point screw extractor set. Bunches of odds and ends. That's Allen wrenches. Here's an old cheapo set of drills that we had bought at one time that I had stuck in here. There's an old keyless chuck. I forgot this was in here. Portomatic. This one's made by Jacobs. It's an old Jacobs keyless chuck. Huh. I actually forgot this was in this drawer. There's a bunch of spring calipers here. Seems like we got these all over the place. Here's Mr. Rozicki's name. That's pretty cool. He must have given it to my granddad or my dad won. Mr. Rozicki. So there's a bunch of spring calipers. Here's some more chucks. This is probably no. I was going to say it looked like a Supreme, but I think this is an import chuck that somebody put in the drawer right here. This is a Jacobs chuck. 32B. It's froze up at tight of the drill index. Some more wrenches and punches. Lots of odds and ends. Lots of good cutters in here. Lots of spring calipers. See, this says Rozicki too, and I've seen his name on a few of these. I'm wondering if Mr. Rozicki didn't give my dad or my granddad all of his old measuring tools whenever he got out of business. So that's I'll have to ask Dad about that. Yep. See, his name's on all these in here, so maybe he gave them to Dad, and Dad ended up putting them all in this drawer here. That's a neat set of spring calipers. You don't ever see anything like that. Look how wide they are. That's pretty neat. I'm gonna have to remember these are in here. That might come in handy. And they're Starretts. These are just some bands or some sanding belts for a little air sander that we got. Alright, so you see a lot of little odds and ends, a lot of good stuff, a lot of measuring tools, drills. Alright, and this next drawer down here, this is where all of our air tools, pretty much all of our air tools stay, even some of the newer stuff. And you can see there's ratchets, there's air drills, chisels, there's some honing tools in here, air grinders. There's that little air sander that I was telling you about. All those little belts go on this. This comes in handy. There's a little saber saw, I think air body saw, just a little cheap one from Harbor Freight. We've used it a few times. There's some cutters in here, some drills. There's a roughing and mill down in there. And there's another nice Starrett tool. There's a little giant jack screw. One of your machinist jacks right there. I think I've got a couple more of these around here. But I've always left it alone. It's always been in here, so I just leave it there. So I don't want to disturb it too much because this stuff gets moved around. It's hard to shut this drawer, but you see this is mainly just some air tools in here, nothing too exciting. There is some other odds and ends, a few cutters and stuff down in there, the Starrett jack. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a break for just a second, and we'll come back and we'll finish off the toolbox. Alright, I'm back over here to the box. I just wanted to make sure that everybody could see everything in the frame. So I plugged it in and checked it. So it looks like everything's a go. So I wanted to point out one more thing about this box here before I go on. This mid box here, you noticed it was wood. We've got 3 of these boxes like this right here, and my granddad actually had those boxes made. These right here. Whenever he worked out at North, out there at the base, you had the machine shop, you had the welding shop, and you had the carpenter shop. And he had the carpenter shop build these toolboxes for him. Over on my granddad or my dad's toolbox, there's another one like this. That's they're all the wide drawers, and I've got another one down there. But I just want to point that out, that's these boxes right here. My granddad had the carpenter shop build for him. So that's just a neat little fact about these old wooden boxes right here. So I'm gonna come down here and just show these off real quick. I'm gonna try not to spend too much time because I know the video is getting really long now. But all right, we'll start with this one here. And you see, all right, this is mainly all taps. Here's some of my tap wrenches that I already showed you off in another video. These are all just odd and end taps. Most of them are all still good. We used to use this drawer a lot. And here's some more tap wrenches, some of the T-handles. These are some of the tap drivers that I made to go in the mill. You can see this one here. I believe that's a half 13 tap. these are some pieces right here that I actually thought about showing this off in another video, because this is a really handy piece to make that anybody can make in their shop, and you can use this in a collet to drive a tap. And I've got a few of them in here made. I've got a few at my other job that I made to drive a tap. Those are really neat. Sonny, I've talked about Sonny. He used to work with us. He's the one that showed me how to make these things. Very simple. So got a bunch of taps in here. These are some more. These are just thread chasing tools right here. Some old thread chasing tools. This is another really cool thread chasing tool right here that's got different sizes on it. You loosen this up and you clamp it around your thread and tighten it up, and you spin it, and that's a thread chasing tool. I was gonna look for a name real quick and see who made this, but I don't see a name offhand, so I'm not gonna worry about that. But here's another one here. This is another thread chasing tool made by Buckingham. We've got a few of these things around the shop. So this is your tap drawer. Your tap wrenches stay here. There's some Acme taps. There's a set of them right here. The right and the left Acme tap. And it's all taps. Alright, the next drawer down, we got some more drill indexes, a lot of tool bits. There's a big Easy Out right there. Look at that. That was made by Plum. We've got a bunch of Plum punches. Old school brand right there. Makes some good tools. Alright, we got some jaws that go to some of the chucks around the shop. Those are some OD jaws for the chucks. We've got a few chucks like the dividing head and a couple others. There's some jaws in here for those. Like I said, a bunch of tool bits. It's basically all just tool bits. These are all, these are the cam lock studs for a chuck right here. There's some shims, some tool bits, some tap extractors that's never been used. Alright, so I think that about covers that drawer right there. A few drills and cutters, some parting blades, some Empire parting blades. Alright, I'm going to move on down. Alright, a bunch more stuff. This is just a punch set. This is an old punch set made by Blue Line. Most of those have never been used. Alright, offhand right here I see some boring bars. This is mainly the drawer. I threw some of the stuff in here recently. So there's some files. I'm going to pull these files out, and I'm just going to put them here for now. I got a bunch of files right down there. That's one of them tools for safety wire right there. Alright, but what I wanted you to notice is, and I know this is a mess and this is disorganized, I'm sorry, but all of these right here are your geometric die heads for a geometric die head, a thread cutting head. And this is where all the dies stay. And I at one time I did have most of these organized, but when you're in a rush and you're trying to do something real quick, you're going through all these trying to find them, so they've gotten kind of out of place and mixed up. And this would be actually a good shop organization job, is making some kind of drawer that had it set up for all of these geometric die heads right here. And of course this is something that I never got to, so they all just stay right here. And when I say a geometric die head, if you guys have never seen one, you guys watching, this is a geometric die head. This is the one that it goes to. I believe this is I want to say it was a 9/16. I cannot remember now offhand, but I don't want to focus too hard on it. But anyway, that's your geometric die head. This goes in the tailstock of the lathe. right here, and you use that to cut threads on rods. So that's the die head, and that's what all the dies go to that are in this drawer. Here's an old Armstrong toolbox. That's some more jaws for another chuck around here that look like they've never been used. I'm gonna have to figure out what chucks them go to. All right, some more cam lock studs. Here's an old Oster die set. We used to have a couple Oster pipe threading machines that we had gotten rid of. That's another set right there for those. I don't know what that is. Let's see. The knockout tool. That doesn't go in this drawer, but I'm just going to leave it alone. But I'm just trying to show you what's in here, really, mainly. Threading bars. There's another geometric die head right there. This is 5/16 right here, geometric. And I know we've got a few of these dies mixed in. There's some in this drawer, and there's a couple in some other drawers, but that's another geometric die head. And we really don't ever use this one here. We mainly just use the bigger one. All right, again, lots of odds and ends, lots of all kinds of stuff in here. And I know it's a mess, but it is what it is. And this is. Just trying to find some other neat stuff that's in here. There's a plumb bob. The plumb bob right there. See, I forgot that was in there. All right, here's another interesting item I wanted you to see. Now, and you guys know what this is? I'm sure some of you do, and you're probably telling me right now. All right, this is a Watts Brothers. I can't even remember the name of this now. I'm drawing a complete blank, but this is like a rotary broach, and this is a floating chuck. That's what it's called. This is a Watts Brothers floating chuck, and you can see right here this piece moves. And the way this thing works is that you have cutting dies that go in here, and then you have some other dies like this piece right here that goes over your work, and the cutter, you feed this in and the cutter follows the die, and it will cut a square hole or whatever shape hole that you have the die for. But unfortunately, we don't have any of the cutters or any of the other dies that go with this. We've always just had this right here, and we've never used it for anything. But this is a really cool piece, and I always wanted the stuff that goes with this. And last I checked, this company is actually still building this stuff, and they still build the cutters for it. So I can still get the cutters for this if I chose to. But this is a really old floating chuck system right here. That was my granddad's, and I've always kept it in his toolbox right here. All right, that's about it. That's about it for that drawer, and we got one more to go, and got some more stuff in here. This spot right here was where the height gauge that I showed you, the Lufkin height gauge, always sat right here. A brand new plastic end hammer. Here's an Armstrong threading tool. Actually, this is a Williams. There's a threading tool. And for you guys that's never seen this, this is your 60-degree V, and whenever it wears, you can go over to the grinder and grind the end to bring it down, and just keep grinding that on around, and you adjust it with the screw right here. All right. This was one of the old indicator holders that we used to use. This is one that, all them dang chips. This is one that Dad had bought. He actually had two of these that he had bought, and it was the hydraulic style, and the seals have gone out in it. So I had just put it up. We bought the Noga. Got a chip right there. Some old indicators. Most of these are junk. See, it still works, but it's missing the lens. That's just an old cheap one. There's some inside mics. Let's see, this is a Craftsman. Look at that. That's a Craftsman set right there. How often do you see a Craftsman inside mic? Not too often. Alright, let's just steer it. If I can get it open. It's not wanting to open. Alright, there we go. Alright, so this is just like that Craftsman set, really. It's a set of inside mics. An old set of Stereo inside mics. And then we got some there's some more indicator boxes. There's a Stereo, and these are just cheap imports right here. There's another thread chasing tool. Some drills. Cutters down there. There's another spring caliper down here in the bottom. Let's see what's this right here. Brown and Sharp protractor head. And there's another box. Oh, see, I remember this now. Look at this. That's an attachment that goes on your scale. Goes on your scale there, and this picture right here actually does a better job of showing what that does right here. Your combination square is a height gauge. Height gauge attachment. So that's pretty cool. I forgot all about this being in here, and I'm gonna have to remember. The box is kind of falling apart, but I'll have to remember that's in there, and this is something that I can use around here. I think some of these boxes down here are empty. Here's a sheer Tomiko. I believe that's some inside mics, if I ain't mistaken. This is an old Stereo box, looks like. Oh, that's a Brown and Sharp dial caliper right here. They still work good too. Look at that. Well, maybe not. Ain't going back to zero. I guess that's a Brown and Sharp box that they went in. I thought it was Stereo. Alright, here's another box here. Let's see what's in this. And that was a Stereo indicator set. Most of the pieces are missing out of it, but that's what that was. I think this is another old indicator set here. Yep. And some of the pieces are missing out of that. It's a Lufkin. Yep, it doesn't work. It's tight. But I just, you know, I try to just really leave this stuff alone. I got the other stuff that I use all the time. This is basically, most of this stuff is just, you know, good memories of my granddad and his stuff. And it's been well used. That's why a lot of it's not working anymore. So that's about it. That's the bottom drawer there. And I've got the bottom cleaned out down there. And what I've got is there's a bunch of phenolic and nylons and plastics down there, just basically just where I keep that stuff. There's some more pieces of material. There's a toolbox that goes to one of the lathes. And that's about it. This bottom box is made by Utica Bonnie. That's an old toolbox. Oh, I forgot to put this back in there and put these back in there. All right, well, I think that about covers my granddad's toolbox. As I said a minute ago, a lot of the tools, his good machinist tools, are mixed in with the other toolboxes now, so you don't really see those things in this box. This is a lot of the other stuff that we really don't use very much anymore. So I hope you enjoyed seeing that. That's about it for that box right there. Alright guys, well that's about it for the Granddaddy's Toolbox tour. I showed you everything in there, and I really don't think I rushed to it, but I think I did rush to it a little bit. But I know this is kind of dragging out a little bit, so I didn't want to keep it going any longer than necessary. But that's my granddad's toolbox, and you've seen what's left in there, and I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm sharing a little bit of us, my shop with you, showing you what's in those boxes, and I really hope that you enjoyed seeing that. There's a lot of cool stuff still in them toolboxes, a lot of useful tools, not necessarily stuff that I use every day, but there's a lot of cool stuff accumulated in his box, and I really like having it. I really enjoy having his stuff here. It means a lot to me. So if this turns out everybody enjoys this, I might do some more on some of my other toolboxes. I really want to go through my dad's toolbox and show you those. And if you guys enjoy seeing this one, maybe I'll do another one, maybe a couple more on some of the other toolboxes. So just let me know what you think. Leave me a comment. I hope everybody enjoyed. And the head strap mount, that's new, so this is kind of a test video for that. So we'll see how it goes. Hope you didn't get too sick watching me bob my head around trying to show you some of them tools. So that's about it. I'm going to sign off for now and get busy making this video. And everybody, let me know what you think. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for the new subscribers, and thank you for watching. All right, I'll see you guys later.